So this is about creating a language pack. So inside all the language folders, both language folders, there's the text files you need to edit. So this is an example here. So these are variable names. You do not have to change these. All you have to edit are these text inside here. So find all of these and you need to edit these. So you don't need to edit anything here on this side. You only need to edit what is text, what appears to be sentences. So these sides, these are not like real words, so you don't edit those. You just edit what looks like real words and phrases. And yeah, so for example, a home page, we see that we're inside the 404 language file. So if you go to 404 page, you can see this is a button, and so there's going to be a button that says home page. So if you want to change it to another language, you just change the text here. Also, for example, here, page not found, you can see this is text, so just go to the 404 page and find the text that says page not found, and you know where you're going to change it. So all you need to do is change this text to the language you want, like this, and that's it. Then you save the file and you go to other files and do the same. One thing I want to mention is these phrases that have a variable inside, so this piece of text. So the text for the language is always going to be inside these double quotes. So you can see here there's a double quote and it starts to say back to, and then another double quote. So when you're inside double quotes, you can change that text. But as soon as you see it, another double quote, it means that you're not inside the text anymore. So you have the second double quote, and then you have a dot, and then the variable name. This is just to connect what this variable name has, usually more text. So exiting the second double quote and the dot means that the text inside here, back to, is going to be aggregated to the text inside this variable. So if you wanted to change, for instance, this button is going to say back to main site, the main website. So if you wanted to change that button, you change back to, and you have to find this variable and change the text that goes to this variable. Now, assuming you're gonna have to go through all the text files to change the language, so you probably have seen this variable before because this is on the config. Yeah, on the config, I believe, language file. So this is probably one of the first variables you're gonna find. But if you don't find it, you can simply search for the variable inside all the files that make up the CMS. And an easy way to do that is using Notepad++. You just select the name, you copy it, and then you do find, Control F, or you can go up to the menu and do find. Now when you're in find, you do find in files, and you select the CMS folder, which I have already selected. And if you do find all, you're going to find all the files that have this variable. So let's do it now to see. And there's going to appear a lot of files that find that variable. That is because this variable is inside a lot of language files. To find the original text inside the variable name, like I said, it's in the config, it's here. But if you want to find any variable that's inside the original variable, you should look at here. So we see that we're in, this file is photography collect template CMS panel settings.php, this is the file, and this line here is the line where the variable is inside the settings.php file. And you can find it on line 18, and if you see the first text that appears is not the variable. So this means the variable is in the middle of the text. So this means that the variable is not being set on this file. To find where the variable is being set after the line, as soon as you go after the text saying line 45, if you find the variable, that is where the variable is being defined. So it is in the config.php file. So if you go inside there, you double click, and you see here that the website name variable is set here. So here you're going to change it. But this is not what I wanted to say really. It is important, but what I wanted to say is that in these sentences where you find these variables in the middle of the text, you should leave them there because they tie up with this text, and all you need to do is change this text here. If you want to see the content of the whole text, you're gonna have to search for where this variable is defined and see the rest of the text, or you go to the 404 or the page you're changing the language text from and see where it says back to, and you'll see the rest of the text, and you'll assume that the piece of text that does not display here is what's inside the variable. So in these cases you change the text that is in the double quotes. And one thing is, when this aggregation is made, the text is joined to a variable, you'll always need to add a space at the end. So here between the O and the double quotes, you need to add a space, because the text inside this variable does not have any spaces at the beginning. So you could remove this space from here, and if you go inside this variable where it's defined, it's in the config file here. So if you add a space here, it's the same thing. So you can add a space at the beginning of this variable or at the end of this text. It's the same thing, but it's better to always add the space at the end of this text, because if you add a space at the beginning of the variable, and if you tie this variable with another text, you might not want this space. So it's always better to add spaces at the end of these sentences.